If you've looked into language learning recently, you've probably seen letters and numbers like B1, B2, C1. Maybe you took a placement test and got assigned a level, but you're not entirely sure what that means or if you're actually at that level. Let me clear this up for you. I'm Arielle, and in this video, I'm going to explain what CEFR levels are, what each level actually means in practice, and why understanding this framework will make your learning so much easier. CEFR stands for the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. It's a guideline developed by the Council of Europe to describe language ability on a 6-level scale from complete beginner to advanced mastery. Originally published in 2001, it's now the most widely recognized standard for language proficiency worldwide. Universities use it. Certification exams like DELE for Spanish, DEL for French, employers, and language schools use it. And here's an important detail. CEFR levels are language agnostic. That means an A2 level in Spanish represents the same competency as A2 in French, Hebrew, or Mandarin. It's a universal standard. Okay, so let's break down the 6 levels. They're grouped into 3 categories: A for basic user, B for independent user, and C for proficient user. A1 is beginner. At A1, you can understand and use familiar everyday expressions. You can introduce yourself, ask basic personal questions like, what's your name? Where are you from? You can interact simply if the other person speaks slowly and clearly. Think ordering your food, giving your name and age, and asking for directions. A2 is elementary. At A2, you can understand frequently used expressions about shopping, family, and work. You can communicate in routine tasks that require simple information exchange. You can describe your background and immediate environment. So you're talking about your job, making appointments, or describing your hometown. Now we get to the B levels, and this is where most serious language learners spend a lot of time. B1 is intermediate. At B1, you can understand the main points of clear speech on familiar matters. You can handle most travel situations. You can produce simple, connected text on familiar topics. You can describe experiences, events, and ambitions with basic reasoning. So you're explaining why you're learning the language, discussing a movie you watched, and handling unexpected situations while traveling. B2 is upper intermediate. At B2, you can understand complex texts on both concrete and abstract topics. You can interact with native speakers with a degree of fluency and spontaneity. You can produce clear, detailed text on a wide range of subjects. You can explain viewpoints with advantages and disadvantages. Think participating in professional meetings, debating current events, or writing formal emails or reports. And finally, we have the C levels. C1 is advanced. At C1, you can understand demanding, longer texts and recognize implicit meaning. You can express yourself fluently without obviously searching for words. You can use language flexibly for social, academic, and professional purposes. You can produce clear, well-structured, detailed text on complex subjects. So you're delivering presentations, understanding nuanced literature, and navigating complex bureaucratic processes. C2 is mastery. At C2, you can understand virtually everything heard or read with ease. You can summarize information from different sources coherently. You can express yourself spontaneously with precise differentiation of meaning. This is approaching native level proficiency. You're reading academic texts in specialized fields, understanding rapid colloquial speech, and writing with stylistic nuance. Now here's something really important that a lot of people don't realize. The CEFR doesn't give you a single level. It evaluates you across 4 competencies: reading, listening, writing, and speaking. And you may be at different levels in different skills. For example, many learners reach B1 in reading before achieving B1 in speaking. This is completely normal. Your reading might be stronger because you've been consuming content. Your speaking might be weaker because you haven't had as much practice producing language. That's not a problem, that's just where you are right now. And that's exactly what Dioma helps you work on. So how does Dioma use the CEFR? We need to say here that we are not affiliated with the Council of Europe, but leveraging their commonly used framework in our curriculum. When you start with Dioma, you'll do a short self-assessment where you rate your level in each of the 4 skills. We use that to place you at the right starting point. But that placement is just a starting point. As you complete exercises, Dioma tracks your actual performance and adjusts. If lessons feel too easy or too hard, the system recalibrates. Within your first hour of practice, you should be receiving content that's level appropriate for where you actually are. And every lesson in Dioma is tagged to a specific CEFR level. Grammar topics are introduced at the appropriate stage. Vocabulary matches the complexity of each level. Speaking and writing prompts require the expressive skills defined for that level. You're always being challenged at the edge of what you can handle. Not too easy, not too hard. Now, if you're watching this because you second-guessed your placement, maybe you thought, I can't really be B1, I still make so many mistakes. Let me say this. Being at B1 or B2 doesn't mean you're fluent. It doesn't mean you never make mistakes. It means you're an independent user who can communicate in most situations, even if you're still learning. The intermediate plateau, B1 to B2, is where most serious language learners spend the most time. It's where you understand a lot but struggle to produce language confidently. And that's exactly what Dioma is designed to help you with. So if you're at B1 and feeling stuck, you're not behind. You're exactly where most learners are. And with structured practice, you will move forward. Quick note, Dioma is not affiliated with or endorsed by the Council of Europe or any official CEFR certification body. We use the CEFR framework to structure our curriculum and track your progress, but we don't use official certifications. Our references to CEFR levels are for instructional alignment and self-assessment purposes. That said, if you're preparing for an exam like DELE or DELF, or you need to prove your level for a job or university, Dioma's structured practice will help you build the skills you need to perform well on those tests. So that's the CEFR, a clear, internationally recognized framework that helps you understand where you are and where you're going. If you're ready to move past the plateau and make real progress, start your free trial at dioma.com. We'll place you at the right level and build a personalized learning path from there. I'll see you in your first lesson.